It's time for Talking Shit. Hi, I'm DeAndre. Welcome to another edition of Talking Shit. Today is the 7th of March. I just got out of the hospital. Had some complications with my breathing and other situations going on there. And I went over to Glendale Adventist Memorial Hospital, and they transferred me over to Beverly Hospital because of my Medi-Cal and insurance. Thank you, Obamacare. I got a chance to catch up on my worrying and and get back on the camera. I wanted to come on today. I normally try not to broadcast on the weekend. I think people need a break from my shit, your shit, and all shit that is talked. But I am sort of disturbed by what the DOJ has done. Some kind of, when you play basketball, NBA basketball or football or something, and a referee will give a bad call, he will try to compensate by calling another call on the other team and kind of trying to balance out the call. And in lieu of this guy not really doing anything about the situation in New York City yet with Eric Gardner, and saying that Darren Wilson should not be brought up on charges for violating Michael Brown's, civil rights. We do have a scathing report that was very revealing with emails back and forth from the city manager to other people in the government and involved with the police department over in Ferguson, Missouri, where, blacks are just sort of targeted, made fun of, and the social pinata of how all that's and what came out of all those things that went on down there when Michael Brown was murdered in cold blood. And the idea that somehow those officials are still out on the job when it has been proven by the head cop in the city that your whole police department is just straight shitty. And for those guys to be running around like they're P. Diddy is really not deserving of anyone's pity. And I believe that the Department of Justice needs to reorganize and start to go down there and strip down the power and the structure of the police department of Ferguson, saying there was little jokes passing back and forth, and some of them were funny, but it really is about what I've been discussing, which is this undercover racism. Why do white people, there are some white people who especially on the Twitter, who tend to, the minute you talk about race or how the blacks were slaves, or, as we acknowledge the 50-year anniversary as a result of Bloody Sunday in Selma, and the president is down there marching around and stuff, and white people, they're not all white people. I don't like clumping people together, but there is a specific group of people who sort of get all pissed off when you mention that, yes, this community of people were treated horribly. The gays, the blacks, the women, the disabled, these people are sort of taking a turn at whose turn it is to burn in regards to the fireplace of the bullshit sometimes often in this nation. And I'm not here to bastardize America. I love America. In fact, this is why we discuss what we're talking about, is because this is America. And we have the inalienable right to look at our experience, to not revisit the bullshit that has caused all this social injustice and, just the lack of accountability on Wall Street. The lack of accountability in the Ferguson Police Department, the lack of accountability in regards to what happened to Tyree, saying that he brought on his own death. Then who brought on the brutality they gave to his sister when she came out and saw that her brother was simply laying on the ground after a 1/2 a second visit from the department there, police? you know, and then this man that's just done got killed over here in Los Angeles, where, granted, he probably did retaliate, but that's what happens when you feel that in spite of what's going on, that you're about to be killed. You know, Eric Gardner was confused and suffocated and murdered because of this sort of unprofessional, sort of barbaric, draconian response to the men and women of color and disadvantage in these communities. Because I believe that the brown community is under a lot of pressure too. The Hispanics, and they don't get the kind of recognition or notification that we don't say a lot, you know. But I believe they're kicking these Hispanic people's asses too. And the more we deal with some of the things that people don't want to agree with, the more it seems that the police department just sort of goes ahead and militarizes itself and takes it out on the citizens. So I want to recognize the Selma sort of, you know, anniversary, if you will. I want to recognize that there's still a lot of prejudice and sexism and homophobia to kill. I still want to recognize that the common citizens all over the planet are taking a step back and looking at what all these high-end people take for granted. You know, and it's a top 1% elite type of a mentality that fuels environments like Wall Street and fucks us all over on Main Street, see? And I don't want to create a tribalism or a type of environment where all it is just chaos and erratic behavior. I do want some sort of organized, orthodox, you know, modern day sort of functioning as a community. But one thing we can't start off with is the lying that we always end up with. Moving facts around, no evidence to really be found, and the next thing you know, the victim is now the clown. You know, we need to change that in our society. So I'm going to say that this is important. I'm going to say, you know, Eric Holder is about to leave this position, but you know, he's put us on the front page with the race relations in this country in regards to the police department. So, in other words, if you think that those statistics that are scathing coming out of Ferguson, if you think those statistics are only in that area over there in Ferguson, you're mistaken. It's going on in Chicago. It's going on in Florida. It's going on in Los Angeles. It's going on in Arizona. And it ain't just the white cops after all the colored people. It's a mentality of people after a certain existence of another. And I believe that we're all brothers. You know, our sisters are being abused to the point where they're not even usually in the category. You know, we're hearing some very sad remarks from people who just think that women are sort of an idea, if you will, you know, and I don't know. I'm grateful that I'm out of the hospital. I'm ready to do some more shows. And as always, the people who are not covering the real information, who make it up as they go along, like some sort of a fucked up grocery store magazine, they are known as Fox News, you know, so fuck them. Fox News. Fuck Fox News. It's good to be back. Fuck you, Fox.